Guys, welcome to another episode of Crypto Casual. Today's episode, here, let me shrink me down. Weird looking at yourself. Welcome. Today's episode, appreciate you showing up. Episode 23, August 13, 2021. The title of this one is The Ark of BTC. And for those who don't know or first time joining, this is Crypto Casual. I'm your host, Chuck, your esoteric crypto coach. And this is your eco crypto community. What do we mean by that? Well, I look at life uniquely, as all you do. I look at the esoteric or the supernatural, the electrical worlds, the spiritual worlds, whatever you want to call them. And for me, it's all energy, it's electricity, it's moving. BTC in itself is a consciousness. And it is, I perceive to be the first real manifestation within our physical realm that's operating on a spiritual electrical nature. And this is all because of the second consciousness, the second coming, however you want to phrase it. I don't lock into religious systems. I've studied them my whole life. I have participated in them, religions. I've studied some in Korea and other places, and I enjoy them. They're fascinating. There is a truth or an essence to every religion, all their tenets, all mythologies. They all have some sort of truth, but truth for me is just relative to the person perceiving their experience. And so for me, it's about getting people to not only understand that spirituality and BTC are sort of the same thing, just dressed up differently in ones and zeros. Electricity is all ones and zeros. BTC runs on ones and zero, or is just an extension of ones and zeros. Or spirit, which is spirally, which is breath, electricity. We have many names for the same thing. In science, we call it atom. And in religions, we call it atom, at least the Abrahamic religions. We divide the atom, we get Eve, we divide the atom, we get subatomic particles. And we just keep breaking them down and breaking them down into mesons, leptons, and then on the other side, Noah, David, Jesus. We can break down the lineages pretty much the same as we have in science. And so for me, science is just left brain perceptions and presumptions, and right brain is religious, mythological presumptions. But if we extract the essence, they're both saying the same thing. The origins of both of them is light. And they being whoever you want your enemy to be, which is just your own shadow thoughts. If you don't want the powers to take over your thoughts, then you command the darkness within you. This isn't a preaching station or a channel. This is just to spark the thought waves that come into you. And the main ones, are they yours? Are they your thought waves, or are they coming in from external sources that don't want you? Again, they who don't want you to think for yourself. They want to manage your body. They want to manage your thoughts. They want to manage your health. They want to manage your soul. And that's great. We all need managers, but then we need to become the CEO of our own system. So that's what this channel is basically about. We're just here to help you through understanding crypto, and BTC is going to help us understand who we are spiritually. All right, so right now, before we get started, please help me out and take a like, subscribe, and definitely light up that notification bell. Let's get some electricity flowing here, folks. If you haven't been here with me today, I have a basic format that we go over, and we have of the day. Everything is of the day. The thought of the day, esoteric of the day, behavioral framework of the day, news, and all that good stuff of the day. So let's get that on down. So before that, I'm just a guy on making videos, voicing my own opinions. It's not truth, it's not fact, it's just my perception. It's neither right nor wrong, good or evil. It is just a perception. It's just thoughts fleeting through the airwaves. And today's stuff is all about creating your own ark, your own spark, your own ark, your own covenant to think the thoughts and focus on the thoughts that can change your behaviors for the better. And we'll get into that a little bit more. But I'm just a guy on the internet spouting and raving his casuality, and then ultimately the responsibility for your life is yours to manage the way you want it. If you want to give your power of management over to someone else, then you need to accept their perceptions of life, which is neither good nor bad. It's just what it is. All right, esoteric thought of the day. Let's get this out. The ARK of BTC and the ARK of Abundance. And yes, it does have, for those who aren't picking up on it or not religious, the Ark of the Covenant or Noah's Ark. Throughout my videos, and if you go back, you'll find little hints and esoteric perceptions. And the more you look at it, the more I'll give you the hidden sights, or the hidden secrets that are in plain sight. So let's get on with it. The Ark, what is the Ark? An Ark can be a vessel. It can be a spaceship. It can be an electrical spark between synapses in your brain. An arc is just a sort of semi-circle. It's an arc, an arch, an arch enemy, an archangel. You can come up with arcs all over the place throughout mythology and religion. What is an arc? Well, it's paired with an ion. An ion is energy, but energy is sort of there. And if you want energy to move, you have to arc it. And all of our thoughts are arcs and ions. And so if you want to move and motivate and inspire your ions, inspire those ions or motivate those ions, that energy within you, then you got to do your work, right? And a lot of us are hesitant to do our work because we just don't know what we don't know. And we'll get into that a little later. But this, your arc, your thinking, your thoughts, your focused thoughts, your loving thoughts, your compassionate thoughts. It will save you from this new flood of hyper waves of fiat printing. So yes, we have these mythologies and religions where a deluge came in, and some of us were prepared for that and were able to get onto an ark. Now, an ark for me is a transmitter and receiver. When in the mythology, religion, when Noah was putting his people on the ark, and they needed two of every kind, but it was a male and female, or for me, the translation is a transmitter and receiver, or a 1 and a 0. And so if I want to prevent drowning of this new flood of money coming in that devalues not only your money, but through the process of your attachment to that money, it devalues you and disempowers you and your psyche. So this whole channel is all about strengthening and empowering your psyche, if you so choose to take up that challenge. Now, the no aha moment left. In cryptocurrencies, we got the ahas. We understand it if you study it. If you haven't yet, you will get your ahas. But eventually, there's not going to be any other time left for this aha, which is a no ah. Or if y'all caught it really quick, it's just Noah. It's just got to have fun. But there are, you got it. You understand Bitcoin. If you don't, this is what these videos are for, is just to help you understand, just to briefly, but again, the ultimate study. If your life is worth what you want it to be, then you're going to have to invest the time in yourself. And that means hours and hours of studying, right? Because you don't want to try to build the ark while the flood's coming. You want to get prepared, and that's what we're doing. We're arcing our thoughts. We're creating the vessel. We are the ark. We are the vessel. We are the ark. So we definitely want to have on our vessel, in our vessel, our esoteric vessel, the thoughts that will keep us from drowning in everyone else's thoughts. So, framework of the day, guys, you got to believe in yourself. As I've said before in some of my videos, I don't have faith, belief, or trust in anything externally, right? Because that's just my perception of what those are. So where's the origin of that perception coming from? Within. So the belief, trust, and faith starts with me. And if I don't think I'm good enough or more than enough or whatever that enough is, then I can't get anywhere. I will flood in my own thoughts. Because you got to remember, you are more than enough. You are smart. We all have our uniquenesses and smart. There is no one such thing as one smart. Just because you can memorize a book doesn't mean you're smart. It just means you're good at memorizing. And so you are good enough at memorizing. But I can put you out on the street. I can put you into different scenarios, and we'll see how smart you really are. Now, I can take someone from the streets and that has street smarts and put them into book smarts And that's going to be a whole totally different landscape for that person. So there's different smarts, and we've talked about this before, so I'm not going to go dwelling on it more. But just understand that you have a unique spark of an amazing smartness within you, and it's up to you to open that up. And you got to do it by opening your heart. And just always remember that you are amazing, right? You don't let anyone tell you different, because then it's your choice to assume or presume what they're saying is true. But we'll find out that all presumptions are not factual. So a presumption is just you're presuming something to be or to not to be. And so presumptions are all thoughts, and thoughts are not fact or fiction. They're just thoughts. Whatever meaning thereafter you want to apply to it is what you create your reality to be. But that doesn't mean it's true to anyone else's reality, because we all perceive life uniquely different. So there are no, in essence, facts to thoughts. You can manifest a thought into the physical realm, and then you can say that's fact. Look, it's a house. It's a fact that that's a house. I can look at it from different perspectives, and everyone else can look at it from different perspectives. I can say that house is a jail, right? It's got 4 walls. It confines me, right? And I can get trapped in that wall, right? So I can break down the wood that it's not really wood and it's not really a wall. I can go in the minuscule understanding of that wood just is full of space. You see what I'm saying? We can go all over the place with this, but you understand that whatever your perception is, it's not a fact, it's just a perception of thought. Right? So I don't get locked down in thoughts. I just allow those thoughts. Now, that's not to say I haven't and I still won't in the future. I get on my tangents and I get on my thought trains, and I ride them for a while until they no longer serve me. But sometimes it serves a purpose to be on your thought train until you understand why you're on the train in the first place. It's taking you somewhere. Cool? All right, so thoughts seem to be true only. Well, thoughts seem to be true, but in science seems to say they have the facts, but they don't. Everything in their universe is made up. When history is discovered, when archaeology studies and discovers more stuff, it changes history, it changes the perception of science and their carbon dating and isotopes and everything else. So just know, and I'm hoping you're understanding, that thoughts are just thoughts. They can change into temporarily a moment that's affixed in time, but in reality it's not affixed, it's just your thoughts are affixed or recycling the same thought. But when we release those thoughts, then they just continue on. The train goes on down the tracks. All right, and a lot of times we try to attach or affix the thoughts because we want security and certainty, because we just don't know what we don't know. And also, actually, no one really knows anything about this earth or whatever. We can look at some of these things, understand the patterns, and then we can ride the pattern. We can surf that wave, but after that wave is surfed, you're done. You got to go find another wave, and that's what thoughts are. We get on the wave, we ride it, and then it ends. But we can't create the same wave that we just came off of. It was the perfect wave for that moment. Now go find another perfect wave. Hopefully that's making sense to you guys. All right. People have good intentions, but different habits. I don't say bad or good habits. I mean, even though I have good here, it's right action. We talked about right action in past videos. You can go look at those. But to me, people, they seem to have good intentions, but their actions speak differently. And it's because they're in fear and they want certainty and they want to have all the security around them. But that's an illusion. Why? Because it's just a thought. And yes, my thoughts are just thoughts. And I understand that. And that's why we keep it casual here. We can't get too deep. But we understand, and what does it mean by people having good intentions? Well, we all start out pretty good, but then at the end of the day, did we better ourselves, right? Betterment, better our minds. Did we improve from the day before? Are we choosing to become better, not feel better? And we'll get into that in a minute. But just remember that the focusing of your thoughts determines your emotional habits. So if your habits become, will then have an outcome. But we can change our habits because they're all based on thoughts, and we can change our thoughts. Cool. All right, so that's what I said earlier. Being better is better than feeling better. Because feeling better is temporary. I can feel, but my feelings change all the time depending on my internal circumstance, my internal experiences and events. So I choose to be better each day. And what is that? I'm going to improve my health, wealth, and love in some sort of way. I'm going to ask myself, hey, did we do better than yesterday? I'm not looking for a feeling. I'm just looking for a metric, if you will. I do work on the emotional as well, but those emotions, as you well know, go up and down like a roller coaster. And so it's hard to affix or keep in one tone of an emotion, and nor do I want to be. I like riding that roller coaster. Right? So our actions speak or are equal to our knowledge. And what does that mean? It means whatever your knowledge is, whatever you know, what you don't know, and all that good stuff, your actions can only mimic what you know. That makes sense? Think about that one, and we'll leave it at that for now. But you can change your habits. Habits come from your behavior. Your behavior comes from your reactions or your actions or the events of which you interpreted a meaning to, that then caused or that then had an effect on you, that then caused you. Again, this is all your perceptions and presumptions about what you experience. So hopefully, I mean, we can go on a lot of information with this, but I think you're getting the point. Hopefully, if not, leave me a comment down below. I'm sure you'll, if you like this stuff, definitely leave me a like. And then I'll definitely like you doing that. But you can change your habits is my point. And when you change the habits, you change them by changing your behaviors, and your behaviors change because you can change your thoughts. So if you don't think you're enough, you are enough. You are excellent. Right? Love yourself, like yourself. Right? Yeah. So, do you assume the worst in someone before you know them? On this false reality we call YouTube, we try to appease the robots. We're looking for likes. If we do certain things what the robot says, then we have likes, which is a very interesting thing. Even though I'm using it, I'm not looking for the robot's likes. I'm looking for you to like yourself. You can like this channel, and I understand that's an algorithmic thing. But what I want you to understand is that like yourself. And the more you like yourself, you'll like the things around you, and you'll start liking other things, right? You'll be the first to notify yourself of a new thing and want to spread and share that with other people, right? And all this happens because not knowing something limits you to what your actions can be, right? If you don't have enough knowledge in cryptocurrencies, then you don't have enough proper knowledge to take action. You'll get action, but it will be something probably what you don't know or what you didn't expect because you didn't have the knowledge in the first place. So what were you expecting, right? You get exactly what you are and what your knowledge is. Think about that. All right, guys. And we were talking about assuming the worst in people. And again, here on people like to make comments and put hater stuff out there. Well, that's fine. That's just them hating themselves. It's an internal representation. They're angry about life. And they just want to spout their hate to other people because then, again, hate loves misery. And hate loves hate. Haters like hating. Depressed people love being depressed. And I say that with a tongue-in-cheek because they get more depressed the more they're depressed. And angry people get more angry when they're angry. Sad people get sad, more sad when they get sad. Make sense? Healthy people get healthier by being healthier. Smart people get smarter by being smarter. Making sense now? All right, so I don't know you. You don't know me. We'll never know each other because it's just our own thoughts about our own self that we're projecting on others. And before you jump to the conclusion that you want to make a judgment on someone or you want to say, oh, this person just sucks and you only watch 5 minutes of a video, then really take a close look internally and see what it is about you don't like or what sucks about you, right? And then understand that that's probably based on someone else had told you and you believed an external source that says you weren't good enough. Well, I'm here to tell you that we are all excellent. Right? We're all swimming up this river, riding this train to a track that we don't know the destination. And I'm here to support you in these frameworks and all this information on how to help you become healthy, wealthy, and wise. So before you do that, check in with yourself before you spout some hate. Ask yourself within, where is this you? Cool. Charts, patterns, and picks. That was enough preaching for one day, huh? Let's go to our charts, patterns, and picks. All right, today's chart here. We're looking at Bitcoin's around 46,439. So we dropped a little bit yesterday and we came up. But if you notice, we have this channel, this green line here, and this. So we have an ascending channel. It's not a triangle like we looked at yesterday in the bigger picture. There's a big triangle, descending triangle happening. But within that, on the 4-hour chart, we have an ascending pattern. It hits the top, hits the bottom, hits the top, hits the bottom, and we're hitting resistance on this major line here, and it's either going to break out or hit this resistance, and then we're going to fall back down. And how far we go back down, we can sort of take guesstimates on that. But as much energy and spark that's happening in the crypto world, and congresses around the world are meeting and trying to regulate this stuff. And there's a lot of power coming in. So we're getting this flood that's about to come in of people. We want to have our vessels, our thoughts, our minds, our wallets ready for the incoming deluge. And so a deluge or flood of money can be great, but if your mind's not ready for it, then you're just asking for $1 million worth of problems. Because if you haven't solved your own problems, you're only going to have $1 million worth of problems, or $20 million worth of problems. Money doesn't solve your problems. It only makes them magnify, if you will. So enough of that. Let's look at the, I'm back on Volkowski's charting. And so basically the chart here, you can go descending channel or ascending channel. He's basically saying trade up channels for alongside, buy when price rebounds at the bottom. So he's saying that on this channel, if it hits, and he says as long as it has 2 hits on the bottom, then that creates a pattern. And he's saying that, like for example, when this line hits here, it's to buy in, and then it normally goes up. But when you have a big one that hits and hits that resistance, to sell or do a short. And we'll get into long and short in some other video, but to sell and then buy. And this all has to do with trading, right? I know my picture's not up, but when we're looking at this, and hopefully you're seeing it, is that when it goes up, we can sell, and we know it's going to come back down. So this pattern, again, the trend is your friend till it ends, as you've heard. And we can keep playing this, and then finally when it breaks up or down, then we can sell at that moment completely, get out of our position. Or if it pops up here, we know that it's going to start going up exponentially. And we can normally determine how far or how high it will go up by other metrics, Fibonacci sequence and Fibonacci patterns and stuff like that, but that's for another day. I just want to get you used to this pattern. And he says avoid shorts and ups and downs. He says the price of the channel, such as it does, figure and sell at the long position or consider going short. Then for position traders, ride the channel up from the bottom and sell it. The breakout is downward from the channel. I see that. So he basically just watch the channel. And again, most of these, they can go up or down. There's percentages. This may break up 60% of the time or drop 60% of the time or whatever. They're all different chartings. But again, anything in the world, the external world can happen. And all of a sudden, yeah, this pattern may be 75% that it breaks up, but because of some announcement in the world, it can drop. So I just use this as a metric to help me look at the overall pictures of what's going on in the crypto world. And I also look at the news, and that's why we have the news on here. It's to sort of help us understand the macro picture and the micro pictures, and charting is sort of macro pictures, if you will. So that's the chart, and that's a pick. My pick of the day is going to be LoFi-DeFi. And it's a unique, let's go up here. So the news and the pick of the day go together. So this is on BitcoinNews.com. LoFi-DeFi launches, smashes records. And so basically what it's saying that it does is that LoFi token will be used as a on the LoFi-DeFi platform, which is a social medium for artisans to connect with investors and earn income while building their profile. So basically, what does that mean? Everything that you see on the internet visually, someone created. And so to make some of these platforms and the there's artisans or computer graphic designers and such that make these things look really good, that design the platform, that design the games. So it's really connecting these people together. And there's about 50 billion of these tokens, which is way over what I would normally get into. But it does have a burn mechanism, which means for every time something's done, one's burned. And if you hold some of these tokens, and they're not out yet, we got 8 days, so I'm just giving you a heads up to do your own research, look at this stuff, and see if it's something that you can get into. And I'm going to do a little more deep diving into it, look at it, and see what it's worth. It's a community type token. And I like the communities. The communities are very tight. They can get behind you or they can crush you. But I like this one so far, and you can get it on PancakeSwap. If you don't have PancakeSwap, do some research on that. It is using the Binance Smart Chain and the Binance token, much like MetaMask, if you're used to that. MetaMask has it's a wallet, and it uses an Ethereum base, but you can put other tokens from like Binance onto your MetaMask. But MetaMask also uses Uniswap. Now, Uniswap mainly uses ERC20 tokens, which is an Ethereum token. Yes, you can wrap Bitcoin and use some stable coins, but the majority of that. Well, in this, PancakeSwap mainly uses BNB, or the Binance token. So you'll have to buy some Binance token, bring it over, connect your MetaMask wallet, and then you should have your amount come up, and then you can buy your LoFi. But again, it's not out. If you want the contract, we just go to BCS Scan, and you get the contract, you copy it, and just paste it over here. You just paste that code over to here, and then it'll pull up the token LoFi. So I'm setting up, ready to go if I choose to buy it. But I think it's an interesting project. I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to do a little more research on it. But I think it's going to be pretty cool. Definition of the day, difficulty. We hear that term in the crypto, especially when it pertains to mining. So difficulty, it refers to the difficulty of cryptocurrency space. They are referring to the cost of mining in that the moment of time. The more transactions that are trying to get confirmed by the miners at any single point or moment in time is divided into a total power of the nodes that are on the network. So China recently had to shut down a bunch of their computers. So the demand got backed up, and so it was taking longer, and then when it takes longer, the fees go up. But then it adjusts for itself. And so the network at that time defines the difficulty. The higher the difficulty, the greater the transaction fee, as we said. This is a fluid measurement that moves over time. So the more miners come on, the more difficult the algorithm will get that they have to solve. But if a lot of miners go down, then the algorithm that are the remaining people on mining, it gets a little easier, if you will. So, and that's how the mechanisms of the blockchain especially work. All right, the news pick of the day. We sort of went over the news and the pick of the day at the same thing, the LoFi-DeFi token. All right, got that all mixed up. All right, influencer of the day. Let me switch back over here. You're not going to see me for a moment. But the influencer of the day is this series off of Disney. Like Disney or not like Disney, this is a very interesting movie. It's the Mystery Benedict Society. It just came out. But definitely watch this show, and if you want to see how others or they can control or attempt to control the weak-minded or the indoctrinated or the people who are blaming, yelling, hating, or dividing, allowing yourself to be divided, take away your heart from your mind, and then go into fight or flight. And this is how they divide us all, right? And we want to unify. We can't unify as one collective conscious because we're all unique, but our unique energies can either empower the ecosystems or it can disempower. We can take electricity away from systems or add. And that is sort of what I'm saying as a collective. But watch this one because it's definitely about how they can control your mind. It's a very interesting. Watch the second, and they have a great dialogue in there. These characters are excellent. This character, she does an excellent job. But definitely watch. It's all about how people are able to control the mind, and and the way they're trying to control mind because at some point they were hurt, they were not accepted, or they didn't think they were good enough. If that makes sense. All right, let's get to this. This video is going a little long, so let's just conclude what we've gone over. We want to transmit higher wave of thought. And when the higher waves of thought, we can open up to the waves of success or abundance. Thoughts are not facts. Remember that you're awesome, guys. Right? I don't know you. I'm sure if I met some of you, I would immediately, because I always look for the light within, not the shadow. I acknowledge the shadow in you because it could be the shadow in me. So just remember when things get tough, right, or difficult, just remember, right, be a member of your own collective soul. Because whatever you focus on, it becomes your habit, it becomes your behavior, it becomes your outcome. And so if those outcomes are difficult, just remember, they're just thoughts, and ask yourself, for what reason are you thinking this thought, and what does it serve? How is it serving you, and does it serve others? Because I'm here to serve you with knowledge, information, unique stuff, crazy stuff. And that's what we're all out here to do, is just be our unique selves, guys. So that about wraps it up. I know we went a little long on this one, but I do appreciate you hanging in there with me. So please take a moment again, like, subscribe, notify that we can appease the robot because we're playing in their world. And that's okay. We can exist with the robots as well as the AI. But ultimately, we want to be and stay in contact with our own heart and our own minds and keep them together. All right, guys, remember, keep life casual.